went pretty smoothly, quick build before we head to Miami to carry on with the Bugatti Chiron. But
$700,000 of body kit got roasted online so badly that Matt Armstrong scrapped it and called in Mansory instead. Next week, we find out if that was a genius move or the biggest gamble of his career. Act 1. The setup. Let's rewind, because to understand why next week matters, you need to understand how insane this story already is. In late 2025, British YouTuber Matt Armstrong took on the single most controversial project of his career. A Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport, one of only about 60 ever built, had been smashed up so badly that insurance declared it a total loss. The owner is American influencer Alex Gonzalez, known online as FXAlexG. The initial insurance repair estimate came back at $1.7 million. Bugatti themselves offered to fix it for $600,000 at the factory. Gonzalez said no. Instead, he handed the car to Armstrong, a man with no formal Bugatti training, working out of a home workshop built with money earned from YouTube. Bugatti did not take this well. The company, run by mate Rimac, effectively blacklisted the car's identification number. No official parts, no diagnostic access, nothing. In Bugatti's view, a hypercar this complex, with a carbon fiber monocoque and active aerodynamics, could not be safely rebuilt outside their own factory in Molsheim, France. Rimac said it publicly. He respected the ambition. He did not believe it could be done safely. Armstrong disagreed. And here is where the story stops being a simple repair video and becomes something much bigger, because Armstrong was not the only wrecked Bugatti in his garage. Act 2, 2 cars, 1 feud. While the Chiron rebuild dragged on, Armstrong was quietly running a second, parallel project. A Bugatti Veyron, also written off, also fixed largely through improvisation. At one point, he got the car running again, using a part that reportedly cost him $3. When he eventually reached out to Bugatti directly for help with the Veyron, the response he got back was, by his own account, an extremely expensive quote. Not exactly a warm welcome. So Armstrong did something bold. He finished the Veyron rebuild and drove it, on public roads, from the UK to Bugatti's headquarters in Molsheim. Part publicity stunt, part genuine test of whether his DIY hypercar could survive a real road trip. It broke a few times along the way. A cracked front splitter, a brake light switch failure, an overheating scare, but it made it. When he arrived at the factory, it was locked. He had picked Bastille Day, a French holiday, without realizing it. Here is the twist nobody expected. A few days later, Bugatti called him, not with a legal threat this time, an invitation for a proper factory tour in September. For a brand that spent months trying to shut this project down, that is a remarkable shift in tone. So by early August 2026, the picture looks like this. The Veyron is basically finished and Bugatti is softening. The Chiron, the far more expensive and far more complicated car, is still not done. And that is where things get messy. Act 3, the $700,000 mistake. Because Bugatti refused to release official parts for the smashed Chiron, Armstrong needed another way to rebuild the bodywork. Headlights, hood, front wings, and that unmistakable horseshoe grille all had to come from somewhere. So the team partnered with a Dubai-based design house to create an entirely new, bespoke wide-body kit. It was called Venuum, reported cost around $700,000. When Armstrong unveiled it, he was probably expecting praise for solving an impossible parts problem. Instead, the internet turned on the design almost instantly. Viewers called it, in their words, horrendous. Others said watching it made them realize Mansory's body kits, long considered polarizing themselves, actually look restrained by comparison. Not a compliment anyone wants after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a one-off design. Here is the part that matters for next week. This backlash exposed a real problem with the entire approach. When you cannot use the manufacturer's own parts, you are gambling with a design studio's taste on a car that already cost millions. One bad body kit can undo months of goodwill built through honest, hands-on mechanical work. So what do you do when your custom solution gets roasted by the very audience whose trust you need? You bring in the professionals who have been doing this successfully for over a decade. Sheet 4. Why Mansory of all companies? This is the pivot that makes next week's reveal so interesting. Armstrong has now teamed up with Mansory, the German tuning house founded by Courage Mansory, which has been modifying Bugattis since around 2009. Mansory's most famous Bugatti project is called the Centuria, built on the Chiron platform. It uses forged carbon fiber panels, a redesigned bumper, bonnet, fenders, and side skirts, an oval exhaust, a large diffuser, a custom wing, and forged wheels. Fully built examples have changed hands for close to $5 million. Mansory has always said the Chiron's W16 stays completely untouched, already producing around 1,500 horsepower at the factory and running close to its thermal limits. This is not about more power, it is about presence. Think about what this means symbolically. Bugatti spent months treating Armstrong's rebuild as reckless and unauthorized. Mansory has spent over a decade doing exactly the kind of aggressive, non-factory bodywork on Bugattis that made headlines, and Bugatti has at best tolerated it. Armstrong is aligning himself with the one outside company that has arguably earned more legitimacy modifying Bugattis than anyone else who is not the factory itself. This is not a random tuning house reveal. This is a strategic move dressed up as a car reveal. Act 5, the stakes for next week. So here is what is actually riding on this presentation. First, credibility. After the Venuum backlash, Armstrong needs this Mansory reveal to look clean, deliberate, and premium. Anything less risks the narrative that he simply cannot get a body kit right on this car, no matter who he hires. Second, timing. This reveal lands just as Bugatti is publicly softening toward Armstrong, with a September factory visit already on the calendar. If the Mansory-built Chiron looks incredible, a DIY rebuild, using a tuner Bugatti has never officially endorsed, might end up looking better in public opinion than anything the factory offered for $600,000. Third, and this is the one people are not talking about enough, precedent. If Armstrong pulls this off in public, he proves that a determined creator with enough money and patience can take on a written-off hypercar, route around the manufacturer's refusal to help, and still end up with something that looks and drives like a product from a respected tuning house. That is an uncomfortable precedent for any manufacturer relying on controlling who touches its most expensive cars. Act 6, the counter-argument. Nobody wants to say out loud now, let's be fair to Bugatti, because the skepticism is not unreasonable. Rimaac's original argument was never really about ego. A Chiron is not a normal car to repair. The chassis is a complex carbon fiber structure. The aerodynamics are electronically managed and safety critical at speeds most road cars will never approach. A visually stunning Mansory body kit does not, on its own, prove the underlying structure is sound. It proves the surface looks right. That distinction matters. A regular supercar rebuild that goes slightly wrong might result in a bad noise or a warning light. A Chiron rebuild that goes wrong, at the speeds this car is designed to reach, is a different category of risk. Mansory's own conversion process for the Centuria typically takes 10 to 14 working days, precisely because every electronic system, including active aerodynamics and stability management, has to be recalibrated for the new components. Not a weekend garage job. The real question next week is not just whether the car looks good, but whether the fundamentals, not just the fiberglass, are genuinely sorted. Act 7. What this really means. Step back from the drama and look at what this saga actually represents. This is not really a story about one wrecked Bugatti anymore. It is a story about who gets to define what a supercar is allowed to become after it leaves the factory. For decades, that answer was simple. The manufacturer decides or nobody touches it. Mansory has spent years quietly proving there is a profitable, semi-accepted middle ground for the ultra-wealthy. Armstrong is testing whether that same middle ground can exist for a car that was never supposed to be fixed at all, built with fan money and judged in real time by millions of viewers instead of a handful of private collectors. Whatever rolls out of that workshop next week, the reveal itself is bigger than the car. It is a test of whether Bugatti's authority over its own hypercars is still absolute, or whether a YouTuber with a camera and a Mansory contact list just found a crack in it. So mark the calendar. Next week, Matt Armstrong pulls the cover off the Mansory-built Chiron. Will it earn Bugatti's respect or become the next chapter in the biggest rebuild saga on YouTube? Drop your prediction below and subscribe so you do not miss the reveal.